It's Christmas time, and we're going to take a look at Mel Torme's beautiful Christmas song. The song is loaded with jazz patterns, so it makes for a nice jazz chord study. So hop in my Christmas sleigh with me, and let's see where it takes us on our Christmas journey here through this beautiful song to see different ways we can put chords under our melody. Okay, first I'll play it down. I'm in the key of E flat, then we'll come back and talk about different ways that we can approach concept for playing melody and chords from a lead sheet. I'm going to go over some basic techniques here that I use when I'm working with my students to get you oriented in a good way that you can build upon when you're finding and learning different ways to put harmonies and chords under your melody when you're looking at a fake sheet, a lead sheet, and trying to figure out what you can do with those chords that you're looking at. Now in this lesson, you're going to have just two parts going on. Your right hand's going to be playing single notes, and your left hand's going to be playing single notes. You can look at it like maybe a very simple Bach two-part fugue, if you like. It's going to get you through the entire song in a very simple but effective way. And if you're a classical player, I think you'll find it quite easy to read the melody. If you're not a classical player, then you'll get a chance to learn that melody while the left hand's doing something very simple. What we're going to do is try to build toward a concept of how we put melody to our chords when we're working from a lead sheet and we only have a melody written with the chords. I hope you can see my lead sheet okay. I've taped it to the piano. I know it's not so close, but I think you can magnify your lens sometimes if you need to see it. It's enclosed, of course, with the lesson. What I'd like to ask you to do first is try a technique here where we're going to play a single note in the left hand as we play the melody in the right hand. So let me demonstrate what that's going to sound like. So what this is doing, it's doing a few things. Your left hand is identifying the root note of the chord that you'll be playing. We're just going to play the very root of every chord, E flat, F, G, A flat, E flat, B flat, and so on through the entire piece. Now, your left hand is often responsible for identifying your chords. Sometimes you play a chord in the left hand, sometimes you play a note, a root note. Often this root note is played in it really lets you know what chord you're playing. Then you have to know what kind of chord quality, whether it's a major chord or a dominant chord or a minor chord, etc. But you get used to this process of the root in the left hand, and a lot of my playing, I'm actually playing roots in the left hand. If you saw my opening intro video, you'll see that I was playing the root on almost every chord I came to. I don't always do that, but it's one technique I use a lot. I do a lot of different things, and we're going to talk about those here as the lesson goes along. So what I'm using the pedal to keep things smooth and moving along, and I'm going to make it as musical as possible. Try to keep a flow going, so it gives you a chance to practice the melody here also, in a nice smooth way, because we're going to be developing on this as we go along. So you want your melody to become pretty natural. So here I go from the beginning. I'll give you an example. And etc. all the way through the piece. Let's just jump to the bridge. It can be very musical. Don't make it just an exercise. Make it sound like music. Make it sound like a singing voice in the high register and a low bass note voice in the left register. Make it a beautiful thing, just the two things happening. What we do as we proceed is we're going to go along here and proceed with this concept of how to make chords with melody, is we're going to fill in the middle with chords a lot of times. So I'm going to fill in some chord notes in the middle. So I'm still playing the root in the left hand in one way or another, and putting some chord notes with it sometimes, and some chord notes up here in the right. And that's what we're going to be building toward all the time, is this concept of how do we fill in between the bass and the melody note.